Good morning. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, y'all. All right. So today on this Monday, Cleora, hi sister. Hi y'all. Good morning, Katie. I gotta talk to y'all about something. Hey Piff, girl, you gotta listen to me today, okay? I gotta talk to y'all about something. Good morning. Let me talk to y'all about something, okay? Good morning, Sharita. I think y'all will be able to relate what I'm going to talk to you about today, okay? Because I wrote on here, you saw that I wrote, I'm struggling. I am struggling, y'all. I am struggling. So let me see how I want to start this. Okay, so sharing my struggle with y'all. I want to know how y'all doing too, but let me just share my struggle with y'all real quick. I remember one time I was correcting my kids and my aunt or my family were around, right? And I remember one of my aunts saying, I was in the process of correcting my kids. I don't know which one it was, but I was in the process of correcting them. And one of my aunts was like, yeah, why you don't put that on Facebook? You always putting stuff on there, like what you happy about, what you got going on, but I bet you don't be putting that on Facebook. And I was like, I just thought, like, what she mean by that? Like, why would I want to put my kids struggling on Facebook? Which I'm okay sharing my struggles publicly, but that's not my place to share, something they struggling with. So I was just thinking about that, how like I don't have an issue sharing my struggles with others if it's going to be used as a way to help others, because I do recognize how narratives facilitate healing, y'all, right? So like me telling my story of struggle can certainly help another person. One, to help that person feel like they're not alone. And two, to show that we got overcome inside of us, right, y'all? We all got some overcome inside of us. So I was thinking about, like, right now, I'm struggling. And once upon a time when I was younger, I may been uncomfortable with sharing my struggles because being concerned about what people think, or even being concerned with the fact that somebody might take what I'm struggling with and use it against me. Y'all can relate to what I'm saying about that. But it's just tricky, right? It's just tricky to know when and how to share the things that you're struggling with, right? I don't know if y'all can relate to that, but it's real. But I was going to say right now, what I'm struggling with is I'm struggling with several things, but it's like macro and then micro things. And so I'm just in this pursuit for a peaceful interior space inside of me. So for example, over the last week with what's been going on with the macro level of people protesting and extreme violence just seeming to always be around us. I've always struggled with violence. Like, I don't watch scary movies. I don't watch things where there's acts of violence, even like something like Transformers. I'll be like, oh, I can't watch that. That's just too much. Because I recognize that I'm an empath and I'm sensitive, and I know that I'll like absorb things way more than most people do. And I don't feel like that's a bad thing. Like I said, I celebrate that about me. But in those struggles of observing what's been going on, like specifically this week, or even just overall, y'all, I just have this like passion and love for our world and our planet and people. So I'm always concerned about what's going on with our environment, like what's going on with climate change, what's going on with people that live in poverty, what's going on with children that are being abused or neglected, or women in domestic situations. Like, I'm always concerned about those kind of things. But y'all know what I do with that? I always commit to always acting. Like, I don't participate in sharing a struggle or sharing problems for the sake of sharing problems. Like, to me, it's like, let's go act, let's do something. So while on one hand, I believe in like sitting in and talking about the problem, but then I'm always like, but what we gonna do? Right, y'all? Y'all get what I'm saying? So not just like this constant complaining and going on about this problem. And that's how I feel with us in this country right now. And in this country right now, while we're saying we can't breathe, we also need to say we can breathe and we will breathe. So we have to pull that overcome up out of us. So my mind is immediately going to, okay, we want something different, let's march, but let's also march into the different systems that have practiced apathy for people of color. Let's march into all the schools that don't have teachers of color, or let's march into the hospitals and ask about and question how they attend to all patients, not just white patients or those with wealth. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, or the justice system. I'm struggling with that because I'm like, I always want to make sure we go act. We need to also do, like, marching is fabulous, but I don't say just march. We need to do march and let's see how we're going to reform our judicial system, right? Y'all get what I'm saying? So it's like this, it's like it's all inside of me and I'm struggling with it. It's creating a lot of emotions for me. It's creating emotions with me looking at some truths, y'all. Y'all remember the other day I talked about some truths of we need to sit with. Y'all want to know some truths that I've struggled with pretty much my whole adult life? A truth is I struggle with being able to make myself be okay in spaces where I have white friends who have wealth, and I know their wealth was built on black bodies. Y'all get what I'm saying? Or just inequities when I am in spaces, and even riding through neighborhoods when I see that these neighborhoods that have more resources are predominantly white, and then why don't more people of color live in those neighborhoods? Not because people of color don't have intellect or skill or talents, but because there have been systemic things put in place so that if it's a person of color trying to start a business or buy a home, there's always this barrier set up. And so I have to like be truthful with myself, like that shit angers me, right? And I have to like sit in that anger, because in that anger, I know that there's some inherent wisdom. And that to me is what drives me to act, y'all. That to me is what drives me to always do something, right? I always want to do something so that I can make things better instead of just sitting in like, I'm going to be mad at you for things that your ancestors did or things that you continue to do. No, I'm going to do something. Y'all get what I'm saying? So that's my macro struggle, right? And let me share with y'all, and I know I might be getting close to my time. Let me share with y'all about my micro struggles. So I have struggles where I struggle with relationships. In relationships, I don't know anybody that doesn't struggle in relationships. That's part of being in relationships, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's your spouse. I struggle with that. I struggle in my marriage. We struggle with him seeing something one way and me seeing things another way, or him having desires that I'm not meeting, or me having desires that he's not meeting. Like, we struggle with that. And in relationships, y'all, again, I'm always trying to go to what needs to happen to make it better. So I don't know about y'all, if y'all familiar with love maps. With me and any people, it's not just in my marriage, but in all my relationships, I go to creating love maps. Do y'all know about love maps? So love map, I think it came out of Gottman's work. Yeah, so y'all can Google that. But love maps are basically like these supporting walls that you create when you're in relationships with other people. So it's like you're focusing on the healthy parts of that relationships, or it simply is doing things like making the best excuse possible for the people in those relationships, or just always trying to understand their story, or knowing them intimately enough to know that some behaviors and things that they're doing, it's not about them trying to do something against you. It's about stuff that they need to work out for themselves. So I'm always looking for the strengths in people, always looking for the good about them, and recognizing that we all have some stuff that, you know, we need to work on. And just me really feeling like I want to be present with people in that way and know that I'm not perfect and we all have space that we need to work on. But y'all go Google love maps. Let me tell y'all a couple of things about love maps, and then I know I got to get off here. Here's some love maps and the sound relationship house. So you build your love maps. So in all relationships, I attempt to share just fondness and admiration, right, y'all, with the people in my life. In all my relationships, I really practice on turning towards them instead of away from them when things get hard. I don't care who it is, whether it's a cousin, my mom, just my aunts. I always try to turn towards them instead of away, which naturally most people will turn away when things get hard. And then also always trying to seek a positive perspective. But y'all, I could go on and on and on forever about like what I do in these struggles as far as macro and then micro. But I want to make sure I focus mostly on the struggle when I'm struggling with me. Okay, y'all. So here's some things to think about when you're struggling with you, because here's some things that I do. So when I'm struggling with me, I have to sit with me, right? And it really is this pursuit for a peaceful interior space. I sit with me, and I can sit with me outdoors in nature. I sit with me and try to release all judgment and practice non-judgment of me in that moment. Because y'all know a lot of times we just are violent towards ourselves with just like critiquing ourselves and evaluating ourselves and saying things that we could have done differently or better. But I try to center myself, and y'all know where I try to sit. I try to sit in this silent space between my thoughts. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know, when you just have thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. I had that last night. I woke up in the middle of the night with just, I could not get back to sleep. And usually when I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm not getting back to sleep and I know my thoughts won't stop racing, I just go to praying for people. I just go to like naming all the things I have gratitude for. But just sitting in this silent space between my thoughts is a way that I kind of work through those struggles with myself. I talked to you in the past about this radical act of sanity, of like just sitting with you even when there's chaos around. Because y'all know we got to carry our stillness with us. Even when there's chaos around, we got to always carry that stillness so that the chaos doesn't overshadow the stillness, right? And I was thinking also, y'all, like just when you sit with you and how you just listen and listen to you, you begin to hear like voices of your ancestors, or some of you may say you hear God's voice. I know I've heard God's voice plenty of times. I love when she speaks to me. Also just nature. I think that if we sit with us during those struggles, there's so many answers that are usually sitting right next to the problems. So y'all get what I'm saying about struggling, and there's all these levels of struggle, but it's like this song says, you got to own your own. Like you got to own it. Like there's going to be struggles, but y'all know what I love about struggles? Usually in struggles, on the other side of it, especially in relationships, there has not been a time where, especially in my marriage, we'll go through, it'll get real bad, y'all. Real bad, meaning like we ain't talking, we ain't saying nothing to each other. But usually when we get to that point where we're able to sit down and talk, there's like, we get to this space, this place that we never could have imagined we could go as far as in our relationships. I feel that way in my friendships too. In my friendships, I feel like we get to this space when we struggle, as long as we don't give up on each other. I do have some friends that gave up on me. I'll just say that, and it hurt. And I don't know what I could have done different, but a lot of times I just recognize that as well. That season must have been over, or it's just not, this season is taking a pause right now, right, y'all? So just being able to see that the darkness can be fruitful, right? The darkness is fruitful. There is a fruitful darkness when tough times come. There's some fruit that can, things that can grow out of it. So I'm past my time, y'all. It's 10:13 and I need to get off here, but I just wanted to share that with y'all, that I'm struggling right now. I'm just being honest. I'm struggling on all these levels, macro, micro. I'm struggling with the world. I'm struggling with my marriage, in my relationship. I'm struggling with some relationships with some friends. I'm struggling with myself. And I hope if y'all struggle, that you make sure you go to sit with you, sit outdoors, sit with Mother Earth, sit in silence, meditate, non-judgment, just practice non-judgment in those moments. Yep, the fruitful can be dark. The darkness can be fruitful. All right, y'all. I hope y'all not struggling like I am, but actually, I hope y'all are struggling, because you see, there's fruit in that struggle. Okay? Y'all have a good one.